There are 5 massive mistakes people are making with their print-on-demand Etsy product designs. There's a huge chance you're wasting hundreds, even thousands of hours on things that will never make your shop successful. That's the equivalent of 3 to 6 months of full-time work. Now, most people think it's because of a lack of traffic that Etsy is sending to their listings, but it turns out that most of the time, traffic has nothing to do with it, because all that wasted time is actually coming from the tasks those Etsy sellers are choosing to focus on. Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm hitting you with a bit of tough love, but by the end of this video, you will have actionable steps you can implement today to grow and scale your shop. By the way, I'm simply Shauna, a 6-figure Etsy POD seller who quit her 4th grade teaching job 3 years ago because, frankly, I tripled my income on Etsy just a year and a half after opening my Etsy shop. Now I teach how I have done it here on YouTube and on my online school community, the Learn and Earn Academy. Now, did you know that 95% of Etsy sellers never break past a handful of sales? We're talking about people pouring 500 to 1,500 hours a year into uploading designs, tweaking listings, and chasing social trends, and ending up with almost nothing to show for it. That's like working 3 to 6 months full-time for pennies. Or worse, not even pennies, just burnout and disappointment. So why does this happen? It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're not creative. It's because you're stuck doing the wrong things and you might not even realize it. You don't have to be perfect. Even I'm making some of these mistakes, but you do need to have it down pat good enough. That is, if you want to see progress in your Etsy shop, which you're here and I'm assuming you do. Let's dive into mistake number 1, jumping between social trends, hoping the next viral idea saves you. And here's what I mean. Remember when a fly landed on Mike Pence's head during the debate? Boom! Within 24 hours, Etsy was packed with Pence fly shirts and mugs. Or when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars. Suddenly, every shop had "keep my wife's name" designs. Then there was the very demure, very mindful trend. I mean, I could go on with these trends, but here's the thing. These trends come fast and they die just as fast. If you're constantly chasing the next viral moment, you end up with a shop full of like one-off designs, no long-term traction, no niche authority, no real momentum. Let me unpack that sentence for you just a little bit. When I say no long-term traction, I like to build threads in my shop. So if I'm working in the birthday niche, I'm adding to that niche throughout the year with the different types of birthday shirts that might sell throughout the year. Maybe I notice doodle types of graphics are doing well in the bachelorette niche, so now I make some birthday shirts that have the doodle aesthetic in them. But I'm adding to the birthday niche over time and persistently, consistently. By adding to this over time, I'm building niche authority. I am putting a nice showing of designs in my shop in the birthday niche over the course of the year, and I am constantly updating the birthday niche with the new types of design trends that are becoming popular. This is going to help me gain momentum in the birthday niche in my shop over time. But if we're constantly chasing the next viral moment in social media, we're going to end up with a shop full of just one-off designs and not building that long-term traction or that niche authority and not getting any real momentum. Instead, top sellers focus on evergreen, scalable niches like teachers, like nurse designs, like dental workers, mental health workers, family designs, birthday designs, bridal designs, couples designs. I could go on and on. There are so many different evergreen, scalable types of niches you could be adding to over time in your shop. These are places where you just keep creating designs all year long and you build a strong, consistent brand that keeps growing over time. And as those customers start to find you, they'll actually be repeat customers because you'll always be updating your shop with new, fresh designs in that niche that they like to purchase in. This makes your shop primed for scalability. So I would make a fly landing on Mike Pence's head during the debate type of design if I actually wanted to continue building out the larger evergreen political niche in my shop. Then if I were one of the first people to get that design in my shop, that could be very helpful in helping me build my shop and scale it in the political niche. With very demure, very mindful, top 5% Etsy sellers would capitalize on this trend only if they could pull it into a niche they already enjoy working in. So for example, if I'm infusing that viral moment into meaningful niches that I'm trying to make meaningful progress in, then maybe in the teacher niche, if that's a niche that I enjoy working in, I might do very demure, very mindful, very much running on coffee and chaos. If I'm working in the nurse niche, maybe it would be very demure, very mindful, very done with charting. If I'm working in like a family vacation niche and I want to turn it into like a group type of listing, maybe it would be very demure, very mindful, very sunburned. And then another option in that group listing might be very demure, very mindful, very much ready for a margarita, very demure, very mindful, very done with these matching shirts. That one's probably for dad, right? And then very demure, very mindful, very close to losing my flip-flops and my mind. FYI, pro tip here, if you are doing family vacation style shirts or family any niche type shirts, Christmas, whatever it is, if you're doing different phrases in those shirts, always think at least a minimum of 5. You want to have one that you know mom would like, a phrase that you know dad would resonate with, and then you want to have at least 3 designs for the kids. One of them specifically for like a little toddler or baby. And then of course you could build it out further from there. A lot of times the family vacationing will buy all adult shirts. So very demure, very mindful, very ready for a margarita could be the grown children. Don't think it's always has to be the little children. Have options for the little children and some options for the grown-ups in that group, that family group that's traveling together. And always make sure, of course, even if you hear an idea, share it on YouTube, make sure you go to uspto.gov and be certain that that phrase is not trademarked and that you're safe to use it. If you appreciate that reminder and you're going to be sure to be doing that, go down into the comments and comment, very demure, very mindful, always checking my trademarks. And if you find that you're often needing this reminder and you're constantly forgetting to check your trademarks before you start designing, I've done that and had to throw whole designs away, then go down to the comments and comment, very forgetful, very demure, gotta remember to check my trademarks. Now we know that if we want to capitalize on those viral social moments, instead of doing one-offs, we should take those viral moments and infuse them creatively into niches that we're making meaningful progress in and building in our shop over time. So let's dig into mistake number 2 now. Spending hours tweaking listings by updating SEO and or mockups. And this is the one that I do find the majority of sellers wasting the biggest amount of time on. We could call this the tweak and tweak loop. Are you stuck on the tweak and tweak loop? If you're stuck on the tweak and tweak loop, go down and comment, get me off the tweak and tweak loop. Okay, let's get real for a second. How many hours have you spent rewriting your Etsy titles over and over? Or swapping out mockups because you found cuter photos or trendier background, or sitting there debating whether you should rank for the SEO, the words that you're putting in your title and your tags that help customers find you. How long have you sat there debating if you should rank for teacher gift or teacher appreciation gift? Yes, I've been there and I've done this too, so it's nothing to be embarrassed about, but it is a massive, massive waste of time. If you do realize you're making some huge SEO mistakes or some huge mistakes when you chose your mockups, change your strategy now on how you're going to collect your SEO. I'll leave a video linked here and I'll leave one down in the description where I walk you through how I do it. And if you need to take a few minutes to up your game with the mockups that you're choosing to use, implement your new SEO strategies and your new mockups moving forward. Do not look in the rearview mirror. Do not make a U-turn and go back to those old listings that honestly probably have some other issues. And we're going to get into that in just a second. You're not going to be saving them by going back and spending time on that SEO and spending all that extra time to track the design down again and to re-mock it up. Here is the tough truth. If your product doesn't convert with decent SEO and decent mockups, no amount of endless tweaking is going to magically make it a bestseller. I'm going to say this again because it's something that I find over and over again that so many people just don't want to hear. And probably first year Shauna did not want to hear it either. So here's the tough truth one more time. If your product doesn't convert with decent, good enough SEO and decent mockups, no amount of endless tweaking is going to magically make it a bestseller. Top Etsy sellers know when good enough is good enough. They get the listing solid and they move on to making more designs and running more smart tests in their shop. Okay, so maybe this will drive the point home for you. Let's get real honest here. You spending all that time rewriting your SEO on a listing that's not converting is kind of like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. The problem isn't the deck chairs. Or you truly cannot SEO your way out of a weak niche or a design, more likely, a design nobody wants. Think of your shop like a garden. Stop pruning one dead plant and start planting more seeds. So if you've been stuck in the tweak and tweak loop, I'm here to tell you, stop polishing, start producing. Focus on what's scalable, not on what's perfect. If you want to hear a little bit more about this topic and dive into it a little more deeply, I'm going to leave this video up here where I share with you a very interesting story about a teacher who at the beginning of the semester tasked one of her classes with making the most pots they possibly could, and then she tasked her other class with making the most perfect pot they could. The results were so interesting. Click on that video next if you want to hear more about that and how it relates to your Etsy shop. Mistake number 3, uploading random designs without design trend focus. Okay, we're going to unpack that. I'm going to explain what I mean because here's where things get even messier. After spending hours tweaking SEO, your title and your tags, and your mockups, what do most struggling Etsy sellers do next? They start uploading more designs, but without a plan, without focusing on fresh trends, come back to that in a second, and without looking at what is actually selling. But here is what the top 5% do differently. They test based on data, not guesswork. They're not just uploading random designs and hoping they stick. They are looking at what designs are already converting in their niche and in other niches with a similar customer profile. So for example, if you're making a teacher shirt, then go look at mom shirts that are bestsellers. Go look at bride shirts that are bestsellers. Look at other female-dominated profession niches like nurse to see what designs are selling there. You will find trends, aesthetics, layouts, vibes in these designs that are not yet being used in the teacher niche, for example, here. And then we know that these looks are working because we see bestsellers in other niches. They just haven't trickled over to the teacher niche yet. And so you can borrow these ideas and make your own unique design over in the teacher niche, utilizing the knowledge that, hey, this design concept works because it's working over in the mom niche or over in the bride shirt niche. So pro tip here to get this done. You could do it the long way, the free way, which is totally cool. You can go in and just research bestsellers 15, 20 minutes every single day. Do this for 45 to 60 days straight. I swear to you, I promise you, you will spot the new bestsellers popping in and you'll go, oh, I've never seen this in the mom niche before. This aesthetic or this look, this is brand new. Super cool. It's working in the mom niche. I'm going to be the first one to go over and try it in the teacher niche. You can also use a tool It's a Chrome extension called Evergreen. It's what I use, and it will actually show you which listings are only 1 month old. It's kind of a hack here. I will leave a link to them in the description down below. You can try them for free to make sure you like this hack, but then you can see right there in the data that Evergreen gives you that a listing is only 1 month old. And so then you can focus on the best-selling listings that are only 1 month old. And then you know that you're probably basing your design concept on a listing that is really fresh, really new, and making waves in that niche. And you could go make waves with that design concept in another niche. If this feels overwhelming to you, but you really want to be new to the trends, in that online community I release a trend report every month. If you take action on the trends I'm spotting and sharing with you in that trend report, you will absolutely have a chance to make some great, meaningful traction in your shop. Every month, I do share at least 1 or 2 of the trends that I'm including in that trend report for free right here on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe if you want to make sure that you're never missing a trend that I'm sharing. And if you want the full report that usually includes anywhere between 8 and 12 trends for the month, I will leave a link to the membership down below. Okay, mistake number 4 that is wasting Etsy sellers' time is not systematizing your tasks. And this is something that I was definitely guilty with for a long time, and I still find myself guilty of it at times now. Creating systems that help us finish things quickly and efficiently. We want to systemize our tasks to multiply results, not just effort. If we don't create systems for what we're accomplishing, we will put so much more effort and so much more time into our Etsy shops, but in the wrong place. That effort needs to be redirected in the research and design process. That's what's going to make us money. How, you might ask? I got you. So the first thing that the top 5% of Etsy sellers are doing, they batch create designs in the same niche. This is something I could create hours and hours worth of content on. I do have content here on the channel about that. I have additional content over in the membership about it. I will link a free video right here and down below for you to go into what I mean by batching your designs. But to say it in a quick nutshell, if I am working on bachelorette designs, then I'm going to create a very specific bachelorette type of design. Maybe it says saddling up and settling down. Of course, I'm going to check uspto.gov to make sure that that's not trademarked. Then I'm going to go create a batch of designs for this. I'll get my SEO together and I have my mockups, but all of my designs are going to go with that exact block of SEO I already put together. So now I'm going to go out and create 10 to 15 unique designs that go with this block of SEO I put together. I've created a batch of designs. So after I'm done with that batch of designs, I then upload listings in an organized sprint. So now I've got all of those designs. I sit down, I mock them all up right on at the same time. Boom, 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 boom. There's something that happens with your brain when you're doing a repetitive task. You could get it done faster. So I'm going to mock up all 15 of these all at once. And then I'm going to spend the next part of that time uploading my designs into Etsy. You could do this however you're comfortable. Maybe you like to go through Printify first and then send your listing from Printify. That's a print provider, by the way, that I often use to fulfill my items. I'll leave them linked down below as well. They've got tons of products you can create and add to your Etsy shop, from shirts to sweatshirts, magnets, stickers, tumblers, all kinds of fun products. Now you might start in Printify and push your design over to Etsy. You can create templates in Printify, so that makes this task a little bit easier, but you do want to figure out a way to kind of make a good system for yourself on however you're doing it. I personally like to start in Etsy. I create my first listing. I have all my SEO, I have my description, I have my tags for this batch of designs, and then I just copy or duplicate that listing on the Etsy side and swap out the mock-up photos that I created. And that's a faster system for me. But then it won't be synced. If you start in Printify and push them over, it's synced for you. If you start in Etsy and duplicate your listings, it is not synced, which means you have to sync it afterwards. I will also leave a video down in the description that shares a little bit more about that. Okay, so how are we creating systems? We are batch creating our designs in the same niche. We are then uploading listings in an organized sprint, so we mock them all up and get them all listed. And then we are going to track what's working, cut what's not, and keep building on proven winners. As you are creating that framework that works for you in helping you grow a thriving Etsy shop that's making meaningful progress month over month, you want to have a way to make sure that you're paying attention to what's working. If something's getting favorited, if something's selling, you want to make sure you're revisiting those niches over time and doing another batch of those designs and then doing another upload sprint of designs in that niche. And you want to make sure that you're continuing to keep tabs on which mock-ups are working really well for you. You want to cut the things that aren't working. If you notice something's just not optimizing for you, and then you want to embrace the things you notice are getting traction, do more of that in your shop. This is the difference between throwing darts in the dark versus turning on the lights, setting your target, and lining up shot after shot with purpose. That's how you scale on Etsy, not by doing more of the wrong tasks, but by doing the right things in a systematized, data-backed way. All right, let's talk about something huge that holds so many Etsy sellers back. Mistake number 5, spending way too much time trying to create the perfect design. You know what I mean. You're sitting there tweaking font sizes for hours. You're agonizing over which shade of pink to use, or reworking the same design for days because you're convinced if you just get it perfect, it's going to be your next bestseller. Perfection trap equals progress killer. Guys, here's the truth. Perfect doesn't sell. Good enough multiplied across many listings is what scales. I gotta say that again because I really want you to internalize what I just said. Good enough multiplied across many listings is what scales. And believe it or not, your good enough gets better and better if you have the intention of continuing to learn and continuing to pay attention to some of the other things we mentioned, like doing that research, going in and making sure you're paying attention to the things that are bestsellers within the last month, batching your designs, adding to the same niches over time. Top Etsy sellers know, and future top Etsy sellers know. I know a couple of future top Etsy sellers because I get to work with them in my membership and I can see it. They know this. It's not about creating one magical design that blows up. That doesn't happen. Stop putting all your dreams on that. You're not going to create one magical unicorn design that just blows up and makes you all of this money. It's about getting a lot of good, solid, research-backed designs out there so you can test, you can learn, you can build listing momentum. That's on you. You create the listing momentum, which will lead eventually to sales momentum in your shop. It's like going to the gym. You don't get stronger by doing one perfectly executed push-up. You get stronger by doing lots of good enough reps over and over. So if you've been stuck overthinking every pixel, I'm here to tell you, stop aiming for perfect. Focus on making meaningful progress. Get more research-backed designs out into the world and let the data show you which ones are worthy of doubling down on. The top 5% of Etsy sellers, they don't just work harder, they work smarter. So if you're tired of spinning your wheels and ready to break out of the Etsy busy work trap, you're in the right place. On this channel, I help sellers like you turn wasted time into winning strategies because you deserve a shop that actually works for you, not against you. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you want weekly strategies and honest advice that cuts through the fluff. Drop a fire emoji in the comments if you're ready to stop wasting your time and you're ready to start scaling your Etsy shop and make meaningful progress. And hey, if you want to go deeper, check out the links below for my membership community and free resources to help you level up even faster. Let's keep hanging out together in this one next. But of course, not until after that tip from Tucker. Tucker, take it away.